I was tempted to do this whole review in song, but that would not be worth the effort, so instead of me singing my entire way through, let's do this a little more normally, at least by my standards, and talk about Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, and the Orpheus DLC. First of all, Summerfall Studios absolutely smashed this out of the park. It's hard making games, really. Like, you can make absolute shovelware, probably with minimal effort, yes, but worthwhile games, it's difficult to do. When you have branching storylines that adapt to play choices and make that pay off satisfactorily, that's harder. When you add musical elements in, where sometimes style shifts or tempo shifts, or obviously the lyrics change, instrumentation might change, that's a massive undertaking. The fact that the soundtracks for this include 3 different versions, that's amazing. That's the amount of effort that's gone in here, and to me it pays off. But this is one of those that I had to do a few runs through to get it. And I think with those, it's a lot of the time I need to be in the right headspace. And I needed to be in a place where I'm receptive to what it's doing, and I've got the patience to put up with perhaps some of the less fun elements. Because there are elements of this that do feel like a drag when you're looking around Calliope's place, when you've got those kind of things where it's like, inspect everything if you want, but you can move on. But I'm like, there's story here. So if I don't inspect everything, I might miss story here. And it is one of those things where that can get a bit tiring. But overall, I was in the right space and I enjoyed this finally. I can't remember how many tries it took. But the story is, a twist on the Greek gods, of course, and how they've survived this long, what techniques they've used. And there are some heavy themes. We have SA themes here, and I'm not going to talk about too much of the plot because it is something I want people to experience, but we have things, it's the Greek gods, kind of, that it gets dark in places. We have self-termination here as a way, technically, of surviving, but also to not have to remember things. We have, and it isn't technically fully, like they do sort of reincarnate in another being, but it's still the ideas there. And certainly our sort of point of view character in Grace does have that issue with it initially. Obviously then you make choices what you think is best, and I like the fact they give you that choice. But this is one of those that it's going to be a shorter review because I don't want to spoil too much, but I'm going to dedicate this last chunk of the review to the voice cast, because I don't often do it for games, and that's an oversight. Will I change? Hopefully, but I'm making no promises, because they are just as important as in-camera actors. They carry the story through vocal performance alone. And here, most of them also sing. I'm not going to go through all of them, I think just some of the standouts, and the ones who I can remember as well. So we have, of course, Laura Bailey as Grace. She is our character throughout, and therefore a lot of the weight is on her shoulders. Luckily, I know Laura Bailey can sing, so that's one relief I had. I'm like, okay, I know this is going to be fine. But she gets the powers from Calliope, who's played by Ashley Johnson, and that's the first song where they have a duet. And if that didn't work, this whole game wouldn't work. The fact that they're both from Critical Role, and voice actors who know each other, a lot of these know each other, I know that. But obviously they have a long-standing connection there, and so that just works so well, because these are people who actually do know each other, and they probably wanted to make sure it succeeds. Yes, as much as anything else, but there is going to be that extra edge. If I don't rise to you, or vice versa, this is going to sound terrible. We have Janina Gavankar as Freddie, who is Gracie's roommate. Doesn't get quite as much of the load, obviously, but she's still present if you are like, I want my human friend along, thank you. Felicia Day as Athena, which I didn't click. I didn't hear Felicia Day at all until I realised. I was like, oh, no, that is absolutely Felicia Day, and I like her role as Athena here. I think it was perfectly done. She brought the right amount of weight to it. But another voice actor who has a lot of weight is Mary Elizabeth McGlynn as Persephone, and how her story unfolds. I mean, if you know Greek legends, you kind of know it, but how that's portrayed is so good. And I know, again, she can sing really well thanks to Akira Yamaoka. So a lot of the Silent Hill songs from way back were Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. So there you go. If you didn't know that before, now you do. We have the voice actor for Bayek from AC Origins, and I didn't even realise because he hasn't got an African accent, and I'm going to pronounce it as best I can, I'm very sorry. Abubakar Salim. He is so good here. We have Anjali Manani as Medusa. That's amazing. We have Erika Ishii, who doesn't perform many songs. Or any songs, actually, I don't think, as Hermes. Maybe it's part of that thing like, I don't think I can do it, so I'm not going to, and I respect that. I do like them. They are very much one of those actors who hits or misses. I don't think I've ever seen a middle performance from Erica, but here it is definitely a hit. I think the youthful, vibrant energy that Erica tends to bring to everything they do absolutely works for this version of Hermes, who is only recently Hermes themselves as well, which is very confusing. But I think the last one I have to talk about, because the Orpheus DLC, is Anthony Rapp. When I noticed that that was Orpheus, that was Anthony Rapp, I was like, what, they brought Rent into this? It was that moment of, obviously a lot of these people are really good voice actors first. A lot of people know these names. I did forget about Troy Baker as Apollo. I'm very sorry about that. Troy Baker is one of those big names. So yes, he does really well as well. Let's go back to Anthony Rapp. But it's one of those things, like, he is a legitimately known stage, theatre, musical actor, as well as being Stamets in Discovery. And so getting him on board was absolutely the stamp of approval from the theatre crowd, if you will. And it's one of the reasons that I want my partner to play it. Like I said, it's one of those where it's like, Anthony Rapp's work, you like him, please listen to him as Orpheus. But the Orpheus DLC is beautiful for that as well. It just explores more of him, which gives Anthony Rapp that extra time to shine. Was that an in-joke? I don't know. But it gives him that extra time to really show that he's Anthony Rapp. Like, give him a whole DLC and theatre kids are happy. So like I said at the start, this was absolutely an achievement and a massive accomplishment. And yeah, they should be proud. If you worked on this game at all in any capacity, be proud of what you did. And if you've not played it, like I said, I've tried to not spoil anything as much as possible. But seriously, go and play it if you're interested in well-written tales, if you're interested in musical theatre, if you're interested in any of these actors. Please, go and support this. And until next time, as always, thank you for watching, and take care. I'm not going to do a silly little singing thing for the outro, don't stick around, don't worry.